Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about position for Invoker. You heard that right, we're talking about support Invoker. The reason why I want to talk about this is number one, Invoker has a 56% win rate on Dota 2 Pro Tracker right now. And on top of that, if I go to the position 4 role, the hero over 558 games, which is quite a bit of games, has a 59% win rate. This hero is winning like crazy. And so without further ado, let's get into it and talk about support Invoker. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken and really take your game to the next level, I'm going to be able to help you, because sometimes the guides on YouTube, there's either not enough of them, they're not specific, or they're just tier lists, which I know you guys love, but at the end of the day, the Game League website is going to help you get to the next level. So click the link down below and sign up. Alright, so in the laning stage, it's pretty simple. Honestly, there's nothing crazy here. There's only a couple things to talk about, which is you want Cold Snap almost always at level 1, and then the Blood Grenade works with Cold Snap. So basically, you can heal yourself with Blood Grenade plus Cold Snap, and on top of that, you just buy a bunch of stat items because you're a universal hero. Other than that, there's really not much to talk about because Cold Snap, I mean, it's a decent trading ability. It heals you, it's only 90 mana, which isn't too bad, but for the most part, you're not doing anything crazy. And so really the main thing that Invoker does well is he looks for kills on the position 5. Often, I just feel like this hero doesn't do enough damage to kill most carries who have pretty good armor, but Cold Snap plus Blood Grenade is pretty damn good at killing these squishier position 5s. As you see with one Cinder Brew here, it actually takes down the Shadow Demon. On top of that, it's pretty crucial to actually contest the Lotus on this hero because your mana pool is extremely fragile and honestly bad. I would say support Invoker is not really picked for its laning stage, so we're not going to spend too much more time on it because without the Lotus, you're going to run out of mana. Like, there is a time where you will run out of mana. Even with the stick and clarities, you will run out of mana. Because Tornado and EMP are very bad for your mana pool, like these are not very sustainable spells, and Cold Snap isn't too much better. Now, in terms of the skill build, what you're looking to do on this hero is just max out Wex almost as soon as possible. You're almost never going to take a point in Exhort until later on, because you're really just looking to play around Cold Snap into the Urn, into the Tornado. It's very, very simple. You Cold Snap, and then sometimes you'll Tornado right after the Cold Snap, and the reason why is the Cold Snap sets up for the Tornado, and then also when they come down from the Tornado, the Cold Snap will proc again, preventing them from moving. As you can see, it almost sets up for a kill on Faceless Void here. On top of that, one thing that's pretty decent about Invoker right now is that when you're trying to disengage, right, with the Ghost Walk, even though they heavily nerfed it, it does still give you quite a bit of mana regen. At its current level, right, only 3 points, it's giving him 7.5 mana regen. That's pretty insane. It's also giving him 15 HP regen. So this hero just really gets a lot of value out of disengaging, right? After you cast your Cold Snap, your Tornado, your EMP, you can kind of just disengage, right? You kite out with the Ghost Walk and you try to live. Now, unfortunately, the enemy is good and they have dust, but you can get the gist, right? You're gonna pop your Ghost Walk, kite out, heal up, and then go back in. And what's pretty cool about Invoker is that he pairs very well with kill combo heroes, right? You just want a hero that does damage, because Invoker without Vessel just doesn't do that much damage in the early game. There's no way around that. It's underwhelming at best. However, he provides a lot of control as an incredibly high range setup. As we'll see here, with the Cold Snap Tornado, he's able to set up for a nice casket into the Maledict and a little bit of damage from Quap, coming off of a smoke gank, and they get a nice kill onto the Mars. Also in the early to mid game, what I recommend you guys do is look for as much farm as possible. Smoke ganks and smoke kills are great, as we saw on the Mars there. However, they take a smoke, and if you use too many smokes, you're not going to have them for the mid and the late game, which doesn't feel very good at all. And so any opportunity you have to farm a lane is definitely an opportunity you should take. One thing to note about this hero as a support as well is the raw tankiness you have. Because of the fact that you're a universal hero, you feel good about taking something like a pig pull. So he gets damage out of the pig pull, he gets HP, some mana pool, and then his items, I mean, this is why Vessel is such an insane item. Look at these items, right? It's building into your best possible item in Spirit Vessel, and you have a fluffy hat, a crown, an urn, right, and a magic wand. I mean, this is like the perfect support inventory, just with no raindrops, right, for general survivability. Fluffy hat, wand, you know, it's just so damn good. And so, yeah, you can see in this fight here as well, he's so tanky. Now, it ends up going kind of poorly as his Quap blinks in way further ahead than she probably should have, and she ends up going down as a result. But he just eats up damage, right? With the Magic Wand popped, and then the Ghost Walk going, as well as a little bit of heals from the Witch Doctor, he's able to kite out, right? He can sustain up, kite out a bit. Unfortunately, as I said, Quap ends up overcommitting a little bit here and does go down. but you can see the survivability of the hero. And now Spirit Vessel is when this hero truly becomes interesting. It's the same thing as mid Invoker, but it's just a little bit of a later timing. However, the timing is still very potent because of the fact that, well, you can hunt people very easily. With the Ghost Walk active here with a lot of points in Wax, 4 points in Quas, 5 points in Wax, and 1 point in Exhort, just for things like attack speed from Alacrity or Deafening Blast if you need to disarm like a Faceless Void who dropped Chrono. It's definitely good to take the value point, and he took it at level 7. Right, moving on from there though, yeah, with the Spirit Vessel, you just do a lot of damage as Faceless Void time walks in here, and now with a Cold Snap in the Vessel, right, this Void is in a very awkward position. This is what Invoker does to heroes as mid and as a support. A Cold Snap and a Spirit Vessel, not only is it a lot of control, but it's also just a lot of damage. The next two benefits about Invoker are honestly, in my opinion, two of probably the most important benefits. Number one is EMP, and number two is the Invis and Ghost Walk Scouting. So let's start with Ghost Walk Scouting. What is so good about this? Well, if your team is winning, then what you do is you scout for kills. If your team is losing, what you do is you scout areas and try to pop smokes, deflect ganks, and just in general give your team information so that they can dodge the enemy. In this game, he's 13,000 gold ahead at minute 25. They're obviously winning the game very hard, and so what do you think he's going to do? His team is pushing bottom, and they're going to bluff, right? Instead of sending all 5 heroes bottom, they're going to understand that the gameplay is, well, show bottom and look for a kill top. This is a very high skill idea, and he's going to abuse this by using Ghost Walk. Mana regen kicking in, and he finds the Mars. This ends up going a little bit haywire and didn't look too good at first, but he's going to start with the Tornado, drop the Ice Wall to buy a bit of time, Cold Snap with the Vessel, and he's doing a lot of damage to the Mars, right? He's done nearly a third of the Mars' health and forces out a Yule's Scepter of Divinity. Now, he should have kited out here, and it's definitely bad that he stayed so close because he ends up getting hit by a pretty nice Echo Slam, a good arena, and he ends up going down, but at least he was able to bait out a good fight. It ends up going well. It was really, really close. However, you can see he's scouting out the fight, scouting out the engagement, and it was only close because honestly he didn't position well and the enemy responded very well. The next thing that's hyper broken about Invoker is the Shard. Like, it's genuinely insane. First off, it increases the damage for each point of mana drained by EMP, but most importantly, it pulls the enemies in. So it does more damage, which is honestly good. It does quite a lot of damage. But the pull in is absurd. The pull rate is ridiculous. If you don't know how it works, well, take a look at this clip. By the way, I'm going to talk about this ward in a second. This ward is actually genius. But yeah, DB's in, finds the Mars, and then look at this EMP, right? Look at this EMP in a moment from now. He's going to make it. Yules comes out, drops the EMP, and look at Mars. He's trying to disengage, but he's just getting pulled back in. If he turns around for even a second, he's pulled into the middle of the EMP, and he can't disengage. The radius on EMP is absolutely massive, first off, right? The radius is freaking huge, and it pulls at an incredibly high rate. It is one of the most broken shards in Dota right now, and people don't understand that. And yeah, to quickly talk about this ward, I just want to mention it. He placed this hill ward even though they're super winning the game. This is their ward, and this is their ward. The enemy team is on Dire, right? This is not their side of the map. This is, right, the defensive side of the map. However, I love this obs because at least what good players do when they're losing really, really hard is that they hit the portal and they expect you to play on their side of the map because you're winning, right? They expect you to play there, and then they hit the portal and they try to farm your camps. That's what Hymar players do. And so this ward is, I haven't seen this yet, but it's genius, right? It's going to pick these people off and allow you to really shut out the map, right? Shut out the rats in particular. Now, in terms of team fights, nothing has really changed. You kind of just sit on Wex most of the time so that you have CDR on your spells. If you don't understand how the hero works, if you have Exhort, it gives you Spell Amp, Wex gives movement speed and cooldown reduction, and Quas gives Spell Lifesteal. Honestly, Quas is almost always useless unless you're, I guess, trying to heal, but in that case, just use Ghost Walk. Spell Amp is good. Like, obviously, it's okay if you're trying to burst someone with Meteor or Sunstrike, but for the most part, CDR and movement speed is just a little bit too good, and you get 2 things for 1 orb, which is just obviously kind of better. So yeah, in this team fight, nothing crazy. Drops the Cold Snap, drops the Deafening Blast on the Faceless Void, kites out. CDR helps a little bit from the other spells, but keep in mind, when you cast the spells, you want to really try to be on full Wex if possible. Obviously, you can be on a mix. It's not terrible, and it's really hard to manage everything, but for the most part, you want to be on Wex. Yeah, as he tornadoes up here, Cold Snap to heal a little bit and just keep the guy stunned, EMP to keep him controlled, same thing with the Ice Wall, and they win the fight convincingly. And yeah, you continue to scale as the game goes along. And I think that's part of the reason this hero is a really good support. It's not a great laner, and I will say I think its laning in early game is kind of the downside, but getting into the mid game, because Spirit Vessel has such stupid build-up, the hero just scales incredibly well with items. It just makes a lot of sense as it scales up with levels as a position 4. It scales into the game with levels and just larger items as well, whether or not that's like Blink Hex at some point or Ag's Refresher if you have stuns. Whatever it is, the hero has plenty of ways to scale. It's been a core for forever, and the item builds reflect that. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. And that's all! But remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!